Clint Barton AKA Hawkeye, second-rate superhero or bona fide comic book icon? More importantly, which version of the character does the new Marvel Legends 6-inch action figure version of Hawkeye manage to encapsulate? The Avengers B-Team Captain America wannabe, or the roguish, fallible, yet bona fide Avengers marksman with a heart of gold? Let's find out. For those of us who have a soft spot for the purple-clad Avengers B-Team version of Captain America, it's not exactly the easiest feat to capture Hawkeye's elusive roguish charm. It's well known that comic book villains tend to feature purple design elements, which explains why Hawkeye is one of the rare purple superheroes, and that he started his career in the funny books as a villain, albeit a reluctant villain, who wasn't too happy about helping his love, Black Widow, execute one of her nefarious schemes. Fittingly enough, it was Iron Man, another superhero who began his career as a second-rate comic book character, more on that in a future video, who recruited Hawkeye into the Avengers, following a brash maneuver on Hawkeye's part to break into Avengers Mansion and thereby impress the greatest superheroes on Earth that he was worthy of joining their ranks. Ever since then, Marvel Comics has made a concerted effort to place Hawkeye front and center in an attempt to elevate him to A-level status, or at the very least Captain America status. Hence, Hawkeye's Captain America shtick explains his turn as the leader and founder of the short-lived West Coast Avengers, which, from what I remember, was supposed to be a hipper, edgier version of the normal Avengers team. I think that was one of the first times that I ever saw a comic book make reference to drive-by shootings, which was a brand new phenomenon at the time. Throughout the years, Hawkeye has taken on various incarnations, and most notably the movie version of Hawkeye. Although he still dons the name Hawkeye in the movies, I'm tempted to call the Jeremy Renner version of Hawkeye a new incarnation, almost a different character. I mean, he's not even blonde. You think this is a small detail? Well, let me put it this way. Would he change Superman's hair color? How would a blonde Superman look, or a blonde Bruce Wayne? Such a change would be more than just cosmetic. Hair color is a big component of a character's design elements, and as such, it's a major element in a certain character's status as a pop cultural icon. Yet Marvel had no qualms about changing Hawkeye's hair color, and to be honest, no one even blinked, if even noticed. So why is that? In Matt Fraction's critically acclaimed Hawkeye series, from the Marvel Now initiative, which is when Marvel attempted to reboot their comic book lines with brand new number ones, if not necessarily resetting the continuity of the Marvel universe a la DC Comics New 52, Hawkeye knows he's no A-list superhero. If anything, he wears his underdog status on his sleeve. He's very self-aware, although he's a verified, bona fide member of the Avengers, the mightiest heroes on Earth. He lives in a low rent neighborhood in New York. He eats $2 pizza. He advocates for underdog tenants in the Bedford-Side, Brooklyn area of New York. His wounds are real in the sense that they carry over from issue to issue. He's very much mortal in that comic book, although he's obviously not like the rest of us. It's a compelling version of Clint Barton, and kudos to Matt Fraction for turning an obviously extraordinary character into an underdog. And it was one of the first times that Marvel had finally copped to the fact that Hawkeye is no Captain America. And in doing so, it almost managed to elevate Hawkeye to A-list status. I haven't seen the Jeremy Renner version of the Matt Fraction storyline, so I can't really comment on the TV series. It would be interesting to see how they depict Hawkeye in that, because Jeremy Renner never really comes across as an underdog in the Avenger series, the movie versions. If anything, he's a bit of a badass right from the start. And yet, whether he's a more A-list badass or underdog superhero, one thing that both the Jeremy Renner and Matt Fraction versions of Clint Barton AKA Hawkeye make clear: Hawkeye is no Captain America, which is a good thing, because it means that Hawkeye has come into his own as a bona fide iconic superhero. So what are my final thoughts on the Legends Hawkeye here? The face sculpt is okay. It's not as sleek as I remembered the comic book version of the character looking. It's a bit clunky. I like the fierceness in the eyes, but the face sculpt should be cocky, fierce. Having said that, I would have preferred something that was more comic book accurate, given that that's how this toy is being marketed. I also don't like that you can't do much with the bow and arrow aside from cosmetic poses, and after the fact, having shot the arrow poses, it was very difficult getting this figure to do anything dynamic with the one arrow accessory, so that was a big letdown. All in all, I don't think this Hawkeye is a must pick up. However, if you're a big Hawkeye fan, the fact is there are not a lot of Hawkeye action figures out there to get, especially the comic book versions of the character. So in that respect, if you absolutely need a comic book version of Hawkeye, well, he's worth picking up. The vehicle accessory might be the deal breaker if you're not into vehicles and you don't want to pay the $50 price point, but if you are, that might be the one thing that puts it over the top for you and convinces you to get him. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you stick around for more.